Hi, Mr. Bodell here, Bodell's Comfort Footwear. Here at the store, we get a lot of requests to be check out sizes and things like that. Even on our website and our YouTube channel, we get a lot of questions, about measuring feet and things like that. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on what you need to look at as far as the factors of fitting concerned. The first thing I want to point out to you, it really has a lot to do too with the way your instep is. So if you have a high arch, high volume arch, you're going to have a high instep. If you have a low volume arch, you're going to have a low volume instep. With a low volume arch, you have a tendency to pronate. With a high volume arch and a high instep, you have a tendency to supinate. So the key is you got to get shoes that are going to have structure and stability by getting firm counter support, shank support, lasting board support, so there's no turn in the shoe. That's going to give you the ability to have the weight distributed evenly and give you an even gait, okay? So you won't be doing this when you walk, or pronating or supinating when you walk. So the way you measure feet, you got to look first at the instep. Make sure, if you want to find out whether you have a high arch, you're going to have a high instep. A low arch, low instep. So before I start showing you how to measure feet, I want to show you, if you have a low arch, low instep, this is called a bow, because you want this style of a shoe because it's not as deep on the instep. You have a shallow foot, so you're going to have a shallow instep on a shoe. So you want to go with the bow front. Those of you that have a high instep / high arch, you're going to have more depth in a shoe with a blucher that opens up at the bottom. That gives you more volume up and down, okay? So that is accounted for in the measuring as well. So what you do when you measure feet, along you're counting for the fact that high arch, high instep, low arch, low instep, supinating, pronating. When you measure a foot, you want to measure from the heel all the way to the toe area here. That gives you the length of the toe and the foot length. Then you measure the arch, which is the heel to the ball of the foot. That gives you the fitting in the arch. Now, if your arch measures longer than your toe length, you want to go with the arch. And I'll tell you why in a second. If your toe length is longer than your arch, you have a short arch, for example. Many times those with the high instep will have a shorter arch. You want to go with the toe length. Now, the reason why I'm telling you about the arch and the ball of the foot area, your foot, when it goes inside the shoe, from the heel to the ball of the foot, you want that to match with the ball of the shoe. That's where you get the break. So if you look at my shoe, the break is right across the ball of the foot. That's where you want your break, okay? If you get a double break, which is up in the toe area like that, you've gone too long. The foot's not resting right properly in the shoe, okay? So you got to make sure that when you're measuring the foot, you get the right measurement for the arch, the toe length, the instep, and any kind of issues of pronating or supinating. That way you get the right size. So your foot will lay right in the shoe, the break is in the right place, and hence the shoe will last longer, you'll be more comfortable in the shoe, and so forth. So, to try to, I guess we could say, recap, for example. Heel, you measured the toe length, you're measuring the arch length, you want to go with longer of the two, okay? You want to make sure that arch is properly fitted, because that's where your ball of your foot's going to hit the ball of the shoe, all right? You got to account for the instep, you have to account for the arch, you have to account for the pronating and supinating. So all those factors enter in the measuring of feet. It's not quite as simple as a lot of places will tell you that it is. So hopefully I've given you some information on fitting, but it's a lot more complicated than most people think, because you got to account for a lot of factors involved when we're dealing with human beings, because we have different issues as far as arch length, toe length, pronating, supinating, low arch, low instep, high instep, high arch, those kinds of things. Hopefully I've given you somewhat of an overview of that, and you can come to some reasonable conclusions when you're out there purchasing shoes. And hopefully you'll come by here, and we'll give you the right fit. So thank you for watching, and thank you for listening, Mr. Bodell, Bodell's Comfort Footwear.